Today in the pedal vault, the Digitech Metal Master.
The Digitech Metal Master comes in this very sturdy and heavy metal housing, and it has a total of 4 knobs, 1 input jack and actually 2 output jacks. It has level control, low control, high control and the so-called morph control that was genuine in the so-called X series. This morph control was advertised as changing different distortion flavors, but I suppose it's just a mid control. Maybe it's combined with the gain control, but we have to find out in the actual EQ comparison. But first of all, let's talk a bit about the 2 output jacks. Another special feature about the Digitech X series was the additional mixer out, so you could go directly into a mixer or into a PA, which basically means that this is an cap emulated output, and we'll have a look at this as well later in the video. So let's go to the curve. So we have a loss in volume and a huge drop starting at 8K and a drop starting at 70 Hz. We have this cut at around 1.9 and we have a very weak low part of the frequency spectrum. So let's crank low. This peak is centered around 120 Hz. And goes up to -60, so it's not as loud, and we can cut the bass frequencies quite drastically. So high has its peak around 5K and goes up to -50, and we can cut it as well until it vanishes completely. Okay, now the so-called morph. You remember X-Men, the animated series? There was a character called Morph. Always liked the name. The Exiles has one too, if anyone remembers this awesome comic book series. So, quite some things are happening here. I let the video speak for itself. So it's basically a combination of mid cuts and mid boosts, and even does some high cutting as well as some low boosting. Okay, now let's see if high acts any differently. Yeah, the center frequency was slightly shifted. So it seems that it changes the center frequency slightly of the high control. The low control not so much, however, seems to change the Q value. Okay. I think I've seen enough, I hope you have seen enough, and now let's hear this thing. So for the live review part, I wanted to explore the mixer out of the Metal Master, and therefore I chose a really basic setup. My guitar goes into the Boss OS2 overdrive distortion just as a boost. Maybe I'll use it, maybe I don't. Into the Metal Master, and from the mixer out it goes directly into my interface. So no effects whatsoever. And well, let's have some fun. That's usable. Maybe not for me, but for someone it's usable. The morph knob is way too sensitive for my likings, but I think here in around noon it's okay. Okay, now let's see if I can spice things up with the OS2. this actually doesn't sound this bad, but I don't have a good tube amp sound for comparison. So with just this hertz and just my guitar, no mix or so, this is frighteningly good. Verdict.
You know, this one was actually the second pedal that I bought in my youth. The first one was the Boss MT2, and I didn't really like the MT2 sound because I used the pedal totally wrong in front of a clean amp. If I remember correctly, the Metal Master was advertised as the MT2 killer or as the better sounding MT2, so I bought it, but I really wasn't quite happy with the sound, and I still am not quite happy with the sound actually. It has a good tone, especially when you use the mixer output, you can get some really usable sounds, but I feel the morph knob doesn't deliver. And it totally doesn't hold up to its name. In my opinion, there's only 1 or 2 positions where you get a good sound out of it, and that's it. So you don't have the tweaking options. You basically have to dial the pedal in this way or that way, otherwise it sounds like garbage. But maybe that's just me. I bought this pedal used again. I sold my original one. It cost me about 30 euros shipped. And this was, of course, a great deal. However, I'm not sure if I could recommend it to you. I think there are better options out there to get a good distortion pedal. But the Digitech, it's nice to have. It's kind of a classic, I think. And I think I'll use it in a couple of more videos. Maybe compare it to some other pedals. So, what do you think about the Metal Master? Did you have one in your youth? Do you still have your original one? Or have you sold it as I did? How do you dial it in? How do you use it? Do you still use it? Just let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. May the force be with you and have a nice day.